The tutoring industry is not like it was in the 90s or even early 2000s. It is completely changing. What we are seeing is that big box companies are out, and honestly, customized and personalized tutoring is in. My name is Rebecca Beard, and I own a local tutoring company and staff over 40 teachers with tutoring clients on a regular basis. And today I'm going to kind of break down what's happening with the big box companies and why this actually matters to you if you want to start or are growing your own tutoring company. So, what do I mean by big box companies? This can mean a variety of things, but the big ones that a lot of people know of is Mathesium, Sylvan, Huntington, Kumon, and then there's a few other smaller ones. I personally, early in my career, actually worked for a Huntington. I had a positive experience minus lower pay. So I've seen the inside of those buildings, but what is really different with those is a lot of them are actually up for sale. There is a big business website where people are selling businesses, and a lot of the main tutoring companies that are selling are these big box companies. And then, of course, you're asking yourself, like, why? Why does this matter? And kind of how this works. So what's unique with the big box companies is that they are franchises, which was really, really good in the 90s and early 2000s because it was kind of like a plug and play system for people who want to tutor. And then people would know, like, hey, my kid's failing school, I'm going to look for Sylvan. But now with the change of the internet, it has completely changed the game. So if you wanted to start a Sylvan, in general, how it looks, or a Huntington or anything like that, is you have a big startup fee. The financing looks very different. Commonly, you're taking out a loan, or the company might be giving you a deal, just depending on the situation. And that could be anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000. So it's not chump change. And then at the same time, you also have a franchise fee, which is normally about $50,000. And then once you get rolling and you're probably swimming in debt, then you are paying 10% of your revenue regularly to that big box company. Not profit, revenue. And so what the downside for those tutoring company owners, if they cannot fill their buildings very quickly and effectively, then they're not making money. What's also the downside of those tutoring companies is, in all honesty, they cannot afford to pay their teachers super well. So then they're not attracting quality clients. It's not really a slight to them, but it's more of a number sense. If you are paying 10% of your revenue out the door and you have all these debt, of course you can't afford to pay more than $15, even $20 an hour for a good quality tutor. That all being said, is why does this even matter to you if you want to start your own tutoring business? So what you can do is, if you are thinking like, oh, I want to start something like this, is you can do something different. If you do not have large overhead fees and you have access to the internet, you can market and do something very similar to Sylvan while holding on to more money. What you can do is you can create a custom built tutoring company, and it can be a one woman or man show, or it can be a whole group, and you can actually easily start it as a group as well. The nice thing is that since you are starting with $0 in debt and you have pretty much no overhead, especially if you use the library, then you can reinvest that money into customization, curriculum, staffing, marketing, and all that good stuff. Because the thing is, those big box companies are really locked down in what they're allowed to do for marketing, their marketing budgets, and they really can't even customize their curriculum, which is really, really hard for those special needs students. So if you are interested in starting your own company, this is kind of like your perfect time to do it. One thing to also note too is that we are in a huge quote unquote trust crisis. And so what that kind of means in this whole situation is, back in the day, parents used to be like, hey, my kid's failing, I'm going to send him to Sylvan. It's a good name. But what is happening now is more and more parents are relying on social media, videos, content, and all that stuff to really trust people. So if you do things right, record some good content, or even just take some photos with kids, you can set yourself up for success and not be in deep debt doing this. If you want more tips and tricks on how to grow and run your tutoring business, please like and subscribe. We're also going to include the link tree in the bio, where we're going to start growing a newsletter just on free resources and how we can best help you. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon.